Hello. Hello, Eagles. Welcome back to day 2 of our Q3 service week. Service is an essential aspect to an IB education, and there are requirements for both the middle years program and the diploma program. Because our entire school is an IB school, we can knock these out in our PLT periods, working as classes and in small groups. I hope it's a nice thing to know that students all over the world that do these programs have the same requirements and do the same kind of work in their own communities. Service is not an assessed part of our curriculum, but it is required and we're going to reflect on it. But remember, while you're doing this, your information can help a community out there. So enjoy it. Enjoy that feeling and know that you're working towards a better community. You may remember from last video that our theme for this week is research. As a PLT, you're going to consider our challenge that Nashville can do better, identify an authentic need facing a Nashville community, gather information and research and learn some more about it, and get ready to share that with everybody by making an infographic about it. The infographic will be dealt with later this week, but today gets you started on some research. At the end of that process, we come back and we do some reflection to talk about what we learned. Here are the dates for this process. Day 2 is today. Today's focus is research, and our deliverable for today is to record our research in a OneDrive file that you can share with your group. Yesterday's was to send in your inquiry questions, and I have a link in the description for you to click on to see what other groups are researching all over the school. I hope you'll do that in just a minute when we leave this slide. Pause a little bit and then go and see what other folks are going to be doing. But you can see what the rest of the week looks like, and it's going to move very quickly from here. If you consider yourself a fairly computer savvy person, then the next several minutes while I demonstrate how to set up a OneDrive file for notes may be a little unnecessary. And so if that's the case, feel free to skip ahead a little bit. But for everybody else, this is good information to have just in general, because this allows you to work collaboratively on something across time and space. So we're going to need some computers. Please pause the video, get your computers out, and bring up the Start menu. What we're looking for here, as you can see, there we go, is OneDrive. OneDrive is a fantastic system that has all of this stuff set up for us to be able to use, and it connects it with everybody that we need to. So click on that Start menu once you've got it pulled up and find that tab, OneDrive, the little blue cloud. I want you to open it. All right, when you open OneDrive, you should get a screen that looks like this. This is a screenshot of what my OneDrive looks like. It's got a lot of folders, it's got a lot of files in it. But the item that we're looking for is called New Item. You can see it in the top middle part of that thing, right here. Find that, and let's click on it. Clicking on New Item gives you this drop-down menu. You've got a lot of choices that you might use in the future, but today we're just going to keep it simple. We just want to click on Microsoft Word Document. So clicking on that should open up in your OneDrive folder below a little unnamed Microsoft Word thing. I typed in PLT Service Research to make sure it stuck out to me in the future, but add your name to it or something that's going to let you know that you got to go back to it in the future. Great stuff. If you've given your name to a file and you've hit enter, this thing should pop up, a blank Microsoft Word document. Take a look at the top left. First thing you want to see is whether the autosave is turned on. Sometimes it's just defaulted that way, which is nice, but autosave is great because whatever you type in, it automatically saves and it never goes away. That's going to be useful if you work and collaborate with some other people and they add things to it, because you don't want to lose that work. The second thing is that share button. And whoever you're working with, whether it's an entire class or whether it was a small group, click on that and add the email addresses of the people you're going to be working with. This way you can all collaborate on the same document together. Why don't we pause and do that? Okay, once you've shared it with everybody, this is where we're going to start to connect the work from yesterday to the system that we've got set up right now. We want to strategize a little bit before we get down and dirty in the research part stuff. We want to take our inquiry question and sort of arrange an action plan around it. So I want you to consider these two things. What do you need to know about your inquiry question, and what do you need to do? This is going to make it much easier to do research in the future because it gives you kind of a little bit more specific to-do list. So we're going to make a little chart of information and tasks on your Microsoft Word document. Here's an example of the one that I set up. I typed my inquiry question at the very top. The example that I'm going to use is, why are there so many pedestrian accidents in Nashville? I've heard that on the news lately, and it's pretty concerning. I like to walk around this town, and I don't want to get in a pedestrian accident, so I'm curious to know some more about that. So I've come up and I've hit the table button. You can see it circled up there at the top left, and I selected a two-row, two-column table, and I just recreated that thing for myself on here. Information and tasks. Once you set this up, just start talking as a group and try to come up with 3 things that you need to know about your inquiry question and 3 things you need to do about your inquiry question. Could look something like this. For my example, I figured I need to know some data. I need to know the number of pedestrian accidents in the last 2 years. I don't know that I need to go back that far in time for this. Where most pedestrian accidents occur in this city. Maybe some tips for how to prevent future accidents, and then what's being done by Nashville in order to stop this stuff. And on the other side, in the tasks column, I figured I need to look up some statistics about this, to find quotes from the Nashville government, and to get a list of pedestrian safety tips and suggestions for the city. What's nice about this is that there's really no wrong answer for what you need to know and what you need to do. It's just whatever you can think up. So let's pause for a few minutes and take about 2 or 3 minutes, come up with a small list, try to get 3 things in each column or your group right now. All right, hopefully you got a few things in each column. Once you've got a few things there, now's the time to start beginning your research. So what exactly do you do? Where do you go? How do you do research? Well, fear not. We have a couple of suggestions for you. There is the good old Google News search. Type that thing in, type some keywords, type your entire inquiry question into the search bar and see what comes up. Nashville.gov is our city government website. Feel free to look there to get some statistics. Wikipedia is always there. We always use Wikipedia to go to the sources at the bottom of the page because that's where the good stuff is. But you could also check out some news organizations. We're confining our stuff to just Nashville. So WPLN, the Tennessean, and the Nashville Scene may be good resources for you. But a goal, I think, should be just to get 10 facts or statistics or data points or something from your research. Always try to write down your sources. And when in doubt, go back to your action plan chart. You chose that thing for a reason, so let that guide what you're looking for. Let me give you an example of some things that I found when I did a Google search about my pedestrian problem. So let's see what we got here. I typed in Nashville pedestrian accidents, and I got a couple of really promising things. News Channel 5 says that Nashville is on pace to outnumber the 2020 pedestrian deaths, but that was from 2021. Not great though, but I've got some statistics in that little blurb, so I'm going to check that out in just a moment. And then I've got another organization, not a news organization, but something called Walk Bike Nashville, and they've got some additional data. So this is really promising. What I suggest you doing though is click on that news tab, and that might send you to some of those news sources that I mentioned, but also follow these rabbit holes and see where they go. Remember, the goal is to try to get 10 facts or 10 pieces of data or statistics, because we could take that and we could turn that into a nice visual thing for our infographic. All right, folks, thanks for listening today. Your next task for the rest of class is to find your 10 facts or statistics or data points. We're going to take those and we're going to turn them into an infographic over the next couple of days. If you need help, reach out to your teacher or some of your classmates, but let's see what you can find. Nice work, good luck, and just know that the next step for us is to create the infographic from what you found. Good luck.